From its source in the distant Drakenstein Mountains, the Berg River makes its way through towns and orchards, eventually reaching a coastal plain some 70 kilometers from the sea. In those last reaches, it works with the tides to unleash a magic which is only really visible to those who care to linger and discover the Berg River estuary. This little-known treasure is said to be worth over 3 billion rand. Every few years, leveraged by the liquid platform of the rising winter waters, a raging flood pushes past the reed-fringed banks into the receptive, thirsty floodplain of this important estuary. There, the succulent red salt marshes are temporarily drowned while the bare pans fill with water. The system, in shock, lies silent for a while, secretly harboring the proliferation of plankton in the nutrient-enriched waters, their planktonic predators, and the fish that follow. Then slowly, as the waters recede, the water birds arrived from upcountry in their numbers. First, the waterfowl, dabbling and diving to take advantage of the teeming invertebrates. Then come the darters and cormorants, swimming in pursuit of small fish, and sometimes pelicans, where the receding waters promise larger rewards. And then the wading birds, the herons and egrets, the ibises and spoonbills, hunting on foot in shallow waters for the new crop of fish fry and frogs. Kingfishers hover, and in the drying pans, stilts, avocets, and plovers enter the fray. After the floods recede and the pans dry up again, life in the Berg estuary resumes its tidal rhythm. River flows diminish and the seas start to push up against the fresh waters that have swamped the estuary. Salt penetrates further with each tidal cycle until the upper reaches are brackish and the lower reaches are almost as salty as the sea. By midsummer, the river relies on the waters that soaked into the mountains during winter. Those flows are enough to supply the freshwater needs of the upper reaches, to create a refuge for the invertebrates, fish, and birds that prefer fresher waters. With our summer around the corner, thousands of Arctic waders start preparing for their long annual journey to the Berg estuary. Bypassing all the shores of Europe and Africa, they choose these vast intertidal mudflats to spend the non-breeding season. As the water levels drop, the sun fuels blooms of algae and millions of tiny shrimp turn the water pink, bringing flamingos from afar. Then finally, the estuary is left to the gulls, laughing at the fishermen while they wait out the chilly autumn. What if next year's winter rain doesn't reach the estuary? What if instead, nearly all of the river flows go to the burgeoning populations of the distant city, the vineyards, or the invading gum trees? What will happen to the 23,000 birds that spend time on the estuary each year? The floodplain will dry up. The estuary will become saltier than the sea, the reed beds will die, and the estuary will silt up. We are already perilously close to this. Water flows into the estuary have been halved, with summer flows reduced to a trickle, and bird numbers are less than half of what they were in the 1970s. Yet relatively few people have ever known the secret marvels of this place. Most people would never know, but for those of us that do know, we now hold this burden. We know what needs to be done, and we owe it to our children. Indeed, our economic analysis has shown that, while it will be costly, securing environmental flows for this estuary will be worthwhile to society.